At 10 years old, I pulled up my jeans and walked away from my first sexual experience. It felt like everything in my head had been rearranged. One moment, the boy down the street was asking me to be his girlfriend. The next, we were crouching in the bushes at the bottom of a field, and he told me to touch his penis. "This is what girlfriends do," he told me. I tried to get out of it, insisting again and again that I didn't want to. "Why?" he asked. I scrambled around for an answer. For some reason, "I don't want to" didn't seem to be enough. "Well, what if somebody sees?" I shrugged. "They won't, I promise. No one can see us here." His tone turned urgent, dismissive. "Come on." I continued to shake my head, but he refused to take no for an answer. After a few minutes, I decided that I had no choice. I'd do what he asked and get it over with. This turned out to be something close to oral sex. Then he asked me to pull down my trousers and underwear so that he could repeat the act on me. Buttoning my jeans afterwards, I felt the worst feeling I'd ever felt. The ground beneath my trainers felt strangely unsteady, the trees leaning at funny angles all the way home. When I got back to my bedroom, every stuffed animal and doll seemed to know what I'd done, how I'd ruined myself with no return. Their faces, once so cheering, now seemed to look away. Getting into bed, I tried to forget it with immediate effect. But I couldn't, not entirely, and without realizing it, I became obsessed with the idea of purity from that day onwards, clutching at mine like a flimsy cardigan the wind was trying to pull away. During the transition from preteen to teenager, then teenager to young adult, I grimaced at the thought of kissing strangers and one-night stands, thinking that this represented resilience and lofty morals. Some feminist streak in the face of the hypersexualization of women. I would never be like that, I told myself. I'm not that kind of girl. The actual source of my disdain was fear, confusion, and above all, shame. As I entered my early 20s, I began to cotton on to the fact that this rigid attitude was rooted in guilt and anxiety. Finally, I came to terms with the fact that something bad had happened to me years ago, something which was wrong and that shouldn't have happened. Most importantly, I understood that it was something I no longer needed to feel ashamed of or push down or ignore. I didn't need to bury it. The shame wasn't mine to bear. I finally realized that the experience had made me sex-averse not, as I once thought, because I was principled, but because I was traumatized. Moving through this trauma was like walking through mud, each step sinking a little deeper than I had anticipated. The epiphany came at first like a light bulb moment. A switch flipped inside my head. I'd been watching a documentary about sexual assault survivors and unexpectedly found myself relating to their experiences, to the misplaced guilt they felt, to the way they retreated from loved ones, to the black hole of misery that threatened to swallow them up. Feelings of shame had been tormenting me for years, and in the space of a few minutes they dissipated. I realized that, like those people, I had nothing to be ashamed of. I had done nothing wrong. I didn't need to keep the assault a secret anymore.